I started planning this ride near the Stagecoach 400 outside San Diego where I live, because eventually I want to do that route, but I can't do it right now because it's the wrong time of year and it's too hot to do the whole thing. So I put together this smaller loop that was completely inside the national forest, except for this little tiny bit that exited the national forest and then came right back in. I knew this section was private property, but I figured it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't gonna go asking for permission to ride 4 miles of dirt road that's basically just grazing land for cattle. At work and in other few areas of my life, I'm often looking for permission to do something. I want a boss or a coworker to say, yeah, that's a good idea. You can go for it. You can do it. Because I don't want to disappoint people and I don't want to waste time doing the wrong thing. But you get me outside with my van, a mountain bike, it turns into a whole different scenario. I'm not looking for other people's approval or permission of what I want to do. So I start this ride, things are going pretty well, and I found a cool place to camp on top of the ridge. It was a beautiful night, had a beautiful sunrise, had my morning coffee, and then I think I'm gonna start the ride of 3,000 foot descent down to my vehicle and finish up the loop.
I would give anything to hold you now. In color dreams I see a dark green line. I still remember every sleepless night.
I get to the property line, I cross a gate, then I cross another gate and another one, and then I start to see signs, no trespassing, violators will be prosecuted, and my favorite, which is stay out, stay alive. So I start to get a little bit nervous, but I'm sort of just committed to this route and I want to finish it and I want to get off the mountain, and this is the quickest way. I pass a couple houses, a couple properties, outrun a couple dogs, but eventually I get caught. So I think I'm almost home free, and a guy comes sprinting out of his house, screaming at the top of his lungs, "What the
Expletive.
are you doing to my property? What the
Expletive.
are you doing here? Who the
Expletive.
are you?" And beside him are 2 very large, very loud, unleashed dogs. And I stop where I'm at, and within a few seconds, I'm pinned in by these very aggressive dogs and their owner, trying to use my bike as a shield from one of the dogs, who I'm certain is going to be taking a piece of my leg before I get off this property. Eventually the situation de-escalates. I tell him who I am, what I'm doing. I'm just out there camping and riding my bike. And he calms down, he calls off his hounds, and we actually had a pretty good conversation, talked about public land, and he had closed off this road because someone had apparently started a fire a few years back and he didn't want people coming through. And he actually got me a tall glass of ice water and a Yeti mug, and turned out to be a pretty nice guy. But ultimately, he didn't let me through the property at all. He just said, "Back the way you came." So I searched around for a little bit and hopped another couple gates and eventually got to a public road that was on the Stagecoach 400 and made it out of there without another incident. Now, I'm not advocating for anyone to blindly travel through private property with your bike or however you're trying to explore, but it's very clear that when you set a course and you begin to take action in something you want to do, someone is going to have something to say about it. Someone is going to stand up and tell you you can't do it. It's just going to happen. If you're looking for permission to go bikepacking, to go exploring, to go check out a route that's been on your mind, or a part of the country or part of the state you live in that you want to go explore, it's not going to happen. You got me, and I'll help you as much as I can, but I can only do so much. If you're buried at work, your boss isn't going to walk into the office on a Thursday and say, "Hey, you don't need to come into the office tomorrow. I want you to have a 3-day weekend." That's not going to happen. Your wife isn't going to wake up one morning and say, "Hey, I was thinking that you should pedal your bike into the middle of nowhere where all the mountain lions are and leave me alone with the baby for the entire weekend. In fact, it's far more likely that the opposite is going to happen. Everybody and their brother, with good intentions, wants to add something to your calendar, to your schedule, or let you know the way that they want you to do something. It's up to you to make the decision of what you're going to do. If you want to go ride your bike and camp out, the only person that you need permission from is yourself. Pretty certain I'm going to come out in someone's backyard. I didn't think that at the top, but after I cross that fence, yeah. So up until this point, I've just been on dirt road. So I thought this entire track was going to be. Then I come up to my way down the ridge, which is this right here. This looks more like single track. That was awful. Can't win them all.